Knowing how many customers are in your store at any one time is vital. Morphean accurately measures occupancy in real time and compares it to your store's ideal customer limit. We notify you when that limit is reached and create a customer announcement if required. Central reporting tools allow the retailer to understand how each store is managing compliance.
Thanks for joining today. My name is Martin Ryder. I'm the VP Sales and Marketing for Morphean, and I'm pleased to welcome everybody today to the launch of our new occupancy solution. Those of you not familiar with Morphean are a Swiss-based technology company operating across Western Europe and globally. We're a leading provider of cloud-based video surveillance, access control, and business intelligence solutions, all delivered through the cloud. For some time now, we've had a suite of business intelligence products, and the occupancy is the latest in the line of solutions to come from Morphean. During the webinar today, we want to share with you a little bit more about how the occupancy solution works, what that looks like actually in the product itself, from the web applications, mobile applications, and some of the add-on features you can get around that. I'm also going to be joined today by our Business Development Director for Retail, Bank and Hospitality. He's also going to share with you some thoughts around how the occupancy solution can be deployed and used within those sectors, and the additional benefits it could give businesses by combining this data with other data to really improve the operations that you work in. We'll wrap up with just some best practice and some suggestions, and we look forward to obviously hearing from you all very soon. So we've added the occupancy solution to the Morphean platform. This is in addition to the current range of business intelligence solutions that we're offering, which include people counting, queue management, hot zones, heat maps, demographics, customer dwell time, and customer path, and occupancy is an addition to that solution. As you see, the product, this feature has been fully added into the mobile applications, so I can see live occupancy counts and get my alerts in there. Similarly, in the web platform, I can also see those live occupancy counts. And I can also look at historic data as well and see minute-by-minute trends of occupancy within the business itself. So a few points around the occupancy itself. So many of you aware, we work with very closely with Axis Communications as one of our key technology providers and key device manufacturers that we work with. We're also taking advantage here of part of their solution where we're able to deploy applications directly onto the camera itself and have all the data processing, data collection algorithms running directly inside the camera itself. A couple models on there that we recommend, the M3045 or the newer version, which is the M3065. There is a wider portfolio of supported devices available. It requires a subscription for the occupancy. So as you're aware, many of you, Morphean runs a full subscription model, so it allows you to pay as you use. Helps your cash flow, more of an OPEX than CAPEX solution, and can be deployed fairly quickly by a wide network of partners. As I mentioned, the analytics are carried out at the edge directly in the camera. So this means we don't need to have servers or PCs on sites running the analytics. As I say, the analytics runs directly inside the camera. The camera processes that and securely sends that data to the cloud, where we use that to create your alerting and statistical reports as well. And one of the key bits, obviously, GDPR GDPR compliance is an important piece around this. So we're actually taking a top-down view. So we're always looking at people's heads. So we're not looking at faces. And also that allows us to get a greater degree of accuracy around people moving in and out of the business premises. As I mentioned, so we're always taking a top-down view. So the camera's always trying to detect tops of heads and is detecting the direction in which a person's moving in and out of that building. So we've got the in and out status, and then obviously able to calculate the occupancy of the store at that particular time. So how this works? So we within the camera itself, we have to calibrate the camera. So we need to understand the height in which the camera is mounted, and also the width of the entrance. The team here can support you in choosing the right camera, right placement, and those kind of things for that situation. And inside the camera itself, we create really 3 zones. So we have this sort of detection zone in the middle, and then either side of that detection zone we have a trigger zone on there. So we're always looking for a head to enter a trigger zone, into the capture zone, into the second trigger zone, and then back out of that trigger zone. So we then know that person's coming in, and similarly, if a person enters this trigger zone, into the capture zone, into the second trigger zone, and out, we class that person as leaving as well. In this particular scenario as well, we're also able to set thresholds around the occupancy, and what that allows us to do is then create real-time alerting based on occupancy exceeding a certain level. So in this particular case, we set the occupancy threshold at 15. So when it goes above 15, we want that to create an alert. So you'll see here from the example, one person leaves, the occupancy drops to 14. A couple enter the building, occupancy goes up to 16, and we get that occupancy alert. From alerting side, as I mentioned, this could be a push notification to the mobile device. It could be in our browser. It could be a warning light. It could be an audio message. It could be some digital advertising, etc. That this alert then triggers. And a whole aim of this solution is not for this solution to be an enforcer. This is to really work with staff within a retail environment or business environment, and give them some tools to be able to effectively manage the number of people coming into the store, how they flow around the store, how occupancy potentially when it reaches a certain level, that could set some trigger points further down the line. Example is when there's queues at point of sale and those kind of things. So we see this as a real day-to-day business tool for end users to use, and really for this solution to be your sort of eyes and ears on the situation, and give you prompts, signposts for you to then either take actions, or we can also create some real-time actions from there as well. So what I'll do now is I'll jump into the product and just give you a flavour of what this looks like from inside the product. Yeah, so inside the product now we've got the occupancy in there. So again, I've got in a live view the camera on here. In the top right hand corner, you can now see the in and out, and also the occupancy state of this particular business premises. If I click into my occupancy options, this then brings up a minute by minute view of occupancy within these business premises. In the top at the middle there, you can also see it gives you the maximum occupancy count for the day. So again, here this is for historic look back, see how maybe we're measuring compliance, when are we getting the busy spots, etc., etc. So for example, in here, if I've I set my threshold at 70. I can see by the charts quite quickly. I breached that 4 times that day, but it was quite a short-lived period of a minute or so where we go over that threshold that we've set. So now inside the mobile app, we can now enable the live occupancy. You can see here we can move the tile around depending on the camera view. This is going to be live occupancy counts. And then I can jump again into my daily count. I can remove the in and outs and just see my occupancy. And I'm also able to sort of jump forward, jump back to current day. And again, see live occupancy counts, turn the in and outs off, and I'm just left with my occupancy. As well, inside the mobile applications, you can have your push notifications based on the thresholds that are set. So again, they can pop up. We can set the frequency of reminders and those kind of things as well if the occupancy stays over a certain level for a period of time as well. I'd like to take the opportunity now to introduce you to Andy. Andy's our business development manager. I'll let him introduce himself. Andy's just going to share with you a few thoughts on the practical uses of occupancy. There's many of those. Andy will share a few with you, just to give you some sort of ideas of how this can really be used as a true business solution, how we can add other data points to this as well to get better understanding of the business environments that this is working in. So over to you, Andy.
Thanks a lot, Martin. For those that don't know me, I'm Andy Martin. I look after retail, hospitality and leisure, banking for Morphean. So most of the business to customer facing elements or segments. So we're talking in the main about occupancy, but I want to talk about a sort of a wider feature set, if you like, because I think it will be short-sighted for businesses just to look at occupancy applications as a tool for managing social distancing and as a current sort of crisis measurement. Retailers, by and large, have handled the sort of policies and procedures fairly well, I think, since the COVID-19 virus hit us. But I think it's fair to say that in the early stages there wasn't a lot of guidance, and it was a little bit trial and error. And I think they've done some heroic work out there. But what we do know is that social distancing is working, and that there's an element of occupancy control that will be required, I think, by customer-facing businesses for some time to come yet. We also know, of course, that the use of video analytics can help a business to understand their customers better, and that when we combine some of this with real-time prompting, it can really provide better service at the time for the retailer. So we decided to focus on these longer-term benefits to understand occupancy, so we could bring this to the retailer alongside our other applications and make sure it fitted within our general strategy around business intelligence. So occupancy complements our people counting, queue management, hot zone, dwell time and demographic applications, and creates insight that can really drive the business forward and make decisions and help them manage efficiency. For example, in a retail environment, occupancy optimization with some real-time alerting can really help to manage resources effectively. It's a really simple application, like predicting the opening and closing of tills at a supermarket, for example, which is a fairly obvious application, but it's one that can really create some value. If we then go further, and this again was our objective, to sort of try to combine that then with things like queue alerts, we can clearly see then how that operation is performing and intervene and make sure that we optimise the number of tills and continue with that through the day. Drilling down even further, we might then choose to look at the effects of our queue management on conversion rate. And again, that can be another important factor. To help each site serve a customer better in real time is really important, and I think it's key that we do that. This isn't just about analysis, but there is an opportunity to look at this data centrally. and it can illustrate how occupancy might affect conversion rate on a wider scale. And predictive data in a supermarket can also help things like resource planning, not just staff, but also things like production planning and food to go, fresh food planning, which will reduce waste and help the replenishment routines. So I think all this business information put together can really create some value. And it's also about managing those plans, managing those trends really, so that we can plan. Using sort of alerts and prompts on a wider level, making sure that we use this analysis to benchmark and drive overall strategy. We've also made it really easy for the retailers to set occupancy levels on each site to suit them day by day, and that's very deliberate because it does change, and it isn't just about COVID. It is about resourcing, it is about days of the week, it is about all those factors. And as we know, it's commonplace across a lot of digital channels now for retailers and other businesses to communicate live with their customers about the best time to visit stores and what to expect on arrival in terms of congestion. If we look broader, again, into something like supply chain and logistics, again, when you look at occupancy and people counting, it can similarly drive efficiencies and prevent congestion. Predicting the resourcing for support services, predicting the other services and the way they're used, helping managers to affect the flow around the distribution centre can be key. And if you think of things like, simple things like the start of a shift and the end of a shift, making sure there isn't bottlenecks entering and leaving the premises, making sure that staff searching protocols, as an example, can be easily managed and effectively resourced. These are all areas where this kind of data can support us. Of course, one area of real growth, and it really leads, the UK actually leads the way in this, is things like managed and shared office space. It's really important to understand, for example, if hot desking is working and viable, and if the services that are around that office and that area are appropriate for their demand. So again, understanding occupancy and people flow can be important here. And again, when we look at things like combining occupancy then with dwell times, that could signal whether there's a balance needed between fixed and hot desk spaces. And again, I think one of the fallouts from COVID will be that we may see a lot more of a blend of home working and office working, and I think those trends will need to be managed. If you go further then and look into the gym sector, and in fairness, leisure and wellbeing in general, they're massive growth areas. And of course, the customers that they have are probably more socially connected and a little bit more tech savvy. They're a generation who expect a digital connection with their customer. So, you know, many of these places now have their own custom built apps showing when a destination is quiet, showing when it's congested, directing them to other services if that's appropriate. So again, I think in this area, we're going to see some real growth, and the more data, the better. If we go on then to something like the hospitality sector, which is going to have some really, really tough times, I think, moving forward, it will probably be the last of the destinations to return to anything like a norm. Then not only do they have to meet their licensing requirements and potential policy requirements going forward, so they need to understand occupancy in that respect, but also there's some commercial demands on their customers. If you look at somebody like Wetherspoons, they haven't got music, but they do have ordering from table apps. They have custom built apps for their customers. And they will be combining all these data points in the future, and it will be on their agenda to make sure they can monitor and control occupancy, as well as manage the customer better, manage their services better, and use predictive and real-time data in this respect. So I think what we're seeing here is that sharing of occupancy data and any important business data is now expected by the customer really, and it's a pivotal part of customer service, showing that the brand is connecting with and creating a commitment with their customer to keep them informed. And this is a battle for brand loyalty, so it will be highly competitive. I don't think that business intelligence is a nice to have anymore. I think it is becoming the norm. We've even seen omni-channel retailers who are sophisticated struggling to keep up with the changing demands in their customers. But just importantly, and we mustn't forget this, of course, managing security, managing risk and health and safety can also be enhanced by understanding occupancy, people flow, and all the other things we've talked about, all this other business intelligence, because there's no doubt that different risks apply to different states and situational awareness in a business. So whether it's measuring compliance, delivering great service, trying to predict trends to understand your occupancy, providing capacity to make your customer experience as positive as possible, there's going to be a lot of different ways that this data is used and shared. And as the customer sort of decides on what their new normal looks like for them, and it will be different as we ease our way back out of COVID-19, businesses will need to stay ahead of their competition, and they'll need to understand how the customer flow around their business is affecting their customers, affecting their efficiency, and affecting their business. We also know that businesses that are better able in the future to manage crises like this, manage a state of emergency, will also minimise their disruption and potentially have a better chance of retaining their customers more readily. So in summary, I think it's a tool for a crisis, it's a tool for benchmarking. The real-time prompts are very important. It allows us to serve the customer better in real time. And the data set allows us to make sure that we can measure compliance, that we have predictive guides for what that behaviours or our new behaviours look like. And our minute-to-minute occupancy can support all this, not just now, but also for businesses in the future.
Thanks for that, Andy. And then maybe just to conclude some practical pieces around deploying the solution. So this can be deployed quickly. Typically, for sort of occupancy people count solutions, we don't always record video, so it doesn't require a high bandwidth upload speed. So you could consider managed 4G networks. So we work with a number of providers, the likes of CSL Dualcom, who provide a managed 4G router, and we have that deployed in thousands of locations today. And really, what this helps you to do then is deploy quickly, less impact on your own IT resource, less delays around accessing firewalls and those kind of things as well. But opting for a more managed 4G network, you can then get the status of these devices. They'll even roam to different network providers. So there's a lot of resilience built into that to ensure that when these solutions need to work, they are, and the connectivity is obviously an important part of that as well. Solution can be deployed across multiple entrances as well. So if we've got buildings or stores with 2, 3, 4, 5 entrances, this can be deployed across multiple entrances. There's sort of a master-slave solutions, and we can connect up to 30 devices together in this master-slave format and really get true occupancy of a business premises as well. Also considering the environments we're deploying the solution as well. So typically this solution is an indoor solution and not an outdoor solution as well. Things to consider are things like mounting height. So this can be deployed at its lowest at 2.7 meters and up to 10 meters. You may need multiple cameras for one entrance depending on the width. But I said earlier, the team here can help you pull that together of what that potentially looks like for you as well. So a big thank you for everyone to join today. Again, we're really pleased to be launching this solution. We see a lot of benefits in this to retail, office, logistics, banking, many sectors where understanding the occupancy of a business premises and how that can help to drive business decisions, compliance, and really for business to benefit from the analytics that you can get from traditional surveillance cameras. Thanks for your time today, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. If you take a look in the description of the video here, you can find a link to our website where you can get more information. If you want to get in touch with the team there, you can provide your details there, and we'll be back in touch with you very quickly as well. Thanks for your time, and have a good rest of the day.
Knowing how many customers are in your store at any one time is vital. Morphean accurately measures occupancy in real time and compares it to your store's ideal customer limit. We notify you when that limit is reached and create a customer announcement if required. Central reporting tools allow the retailer to understand how each store is managing compliance.